Salutations and greetings, my friends. That is not the voice of Michael Cross, although it is his words.
Right.
I am Brooke Bullock, DM of Curse of the Clockwork City, and it is time for the round table. I am joined by some of the greatest players that Oklahoma has to offer. Woohoo! Including our very own sound man,
Michael Cross.
and
Johnny Payne.
You don't need to and me. I'm Kiri Hester.
Connor Shenold.
we have successfully started campaign 3.
Yeah.
That is so, we're excited to have you guys on board with us. And Happy New Year!
Hopefully. Probably.
Probably. We're
Hold
pretty
on.
sure that math is mathin'.
If you're
I
listening
should
to
check
this in
that
the
calendar.
apocalypse, then you know.
It's
so-
October 9th for us.
It's too late, Michael. You don't edit these.
I know. It's right, I don't edit things at all. So.
We don't know this before Christmas or after Christmas, but little Timmy, we hope you like the train set.
It'll actually be, it's actually the 27th is when this is coming out.
So there you go.
So hopefully I
So
have
happy
a niece.
holidays, whatever holiday you're celebrating at this moment.
There you go. What a great time to have your family trapped in the car with you and listen to the episodes of Campaign 3 of Dirt DnD.
That's right.
Woo-hoo-hoo. We have had gonna make Michael edit because
You're not going to make
You're not-
Michael
I'm not gonna-
there's just going to be a quiet spot.
Yeah,
Carrie,
you
quick, let's fill the dead air with banter.
Hey, how's it going?
Not bad.
Good, good.
I ran out of banter. Hurry.
I'm banterless. Hurry,
Have
go.
you been practicing your accent, Johnny?
Haven't. It's been terrible. No, I guess I need to.
I'm not saying you need to. I'm just asking
No,
if that's a
I
thing
can
that you
take
do
the
as a
hint.
voice actor.
As
No,
long as I don't
yes.
get distracted by Kiri's
I know.
accent,
I know.
I'm fine.
'Cause I was
Michael and I
listening-
keep trying to swap.
Well, and that's the other reason why I've switched tables here. Kiri is not opposite me, so I don't. Hopefully,
I was
can
going
just
back
go.
and listening to episodes, and I keep wanting to slip into the
it's such a
Kiri's
fun
last
accent.
voice. I was like, I want to do Dexter's Laboratory too.
When you're
fun
from the
thing
same
about
place,
me-
I don't see why you can't. There's absolutely
Oh
reason why
no,
you
Michael,
can't have
she's
it.
from the other side of town.
He's from the bad side of town.
Yeah.
See, the fun thing is my accent depends on all y'all's
This
accents.
is, well, and I'm not saying that it was
Chameleon.
a deliberate choice because at the time I didn't super know where in the city the siren song would be. But I am like 2 blocks away from the docks. So,
What is her last name?
oh gosh, Moxlara Mythlivia.
Never mind. I was going to go for the jab of singular name, huh? But that's 17
She has one,
syllables.
just nobody uses it.
Moxie has a very, very big long name. So
That's why she just goes by Moxie.
yeah,
It's like-
accents are hard, beginnings are hard.
It's me, Sable, who doesn't have a last name.
Yeah, Sable doesn't have a last name.
Very good, very good. And that's a chosen name, right? Like
Yes.
Sable. Yeah, Sable has not always been Sable. Maybe there's a birth name back in there.
We'll get you a name, Connor with the K. We'll get you
Yeah,
Sable of
yeah,
her
Connor
people.
did not have one either, so
Yeah.
Whitakay eventually became Connor's.
Neither does Jaska, you know. It's
That is true.
no last
Who needs a surname?
Madonna,
Nobody that's not the
Sting.
government.
I,
A story I haven't told yet this year in class. I have a young man whose name is Connor, and he spells it with a K.
I love that for
And
you.
so from the very beginning of the first day of school, way back in August, I was like, Connor with a K. And every now and then, I will still refer to him as Connor with a K. Right? I have another student who has started listening to Red Dirt Campaign 1, and about 2 weeks ago, she came up with me and went, Connor with a K? Because they're in the same class together.
Yeah.
And I just smiled really big, and I was like, it's catchy, isn't it? And she's like, ah.
If you're listening, Connor, this one's for you.
There you go. Or Estelle. If Estelle
Or
happens to
Estelle,
be listening,
this
there
one's for you.
go. We did not start in a tavern.
Didn't we, though?
We
But then
ended
we
in
kinda
a
did.
tavern.
I started at a
ended in a
tavern.
tavern.
Started in a tavern.
We eventually got to a tavern.
I was always there. I haven't, to be clear, I haven't left my property. I went to the alley and then I went back to my bar.
And, that's kind of hard also because when August says to Elias, "Hey, I know a place where we can go to drink."
Yeah.
Elias doesn't know where that is. Michael knows exactly where we're heading, and so I couldn't go. Nah, I'm gonna go home and sleep. I know this gets actually.
Yes,
yes,
and?
yes, exactly.
Right. and the weaving of that, like the world building of that in my short little, like, here's my rough umbrella DM notes of where folks might go. I didn't know that Johnny was gonna just hit that out of the park and say, let's go to the Siren Song.
Listen, here's
right?
one thing I
had
know
all
about
ready
Johnny
for
Payne.
him to do like a different bar and a different thing. But
Johnny Payne wants to progress the plot. He's gonna.
we are all
Your plot
pretty-
or
we
my
are-
plot? A plot's getting
The
progressed.
plot is getting progressed.
We are all fairly good at making sure the plot is, but no one is better than Connor.
Connor already said that we
Y'all
just
always
go.
been the best. It's like,
Y'all have really learned from me. And
My
I
favorite-
appreciate it.
True, yes. Under your tutelage, we have learned to
Well, and
progress the
that's-
plot.
One of my favorite
okay,
Connor
so-
moments is we're walking while we're talking, right?
That's
No,
something
my
that-
favorite was, are we still in town? Why are we still in town?
Why are we still here?
Most recently, can I just be there now?
yes.
Right.
But one thing that you get when you play TTRPGs with the same group of people over an extended period of time is you do pick up on play styles and stuff like that, and it kind of bleeds into how you like to play. And so I have become the Connor kind of my home group in that there's one. Jacob doesn't listen to this, so I'm gonna talk crap on Jacob.
everybody
you,
who
Jacob.
knows Jacob. now
Jacob
you
is
need to get to listen.
playing. Jacob is playing a rogue in my current Savage Worlds game, and has to loot and attempt to rob everybody, and it really slows everything down. And including recently, we were in some catacombs, and he kept trying to. I was like, "That is a dead body. This is grave robbery. I'm leaving. I'm walking out the door. Mira is leaving now.
Whatever you do is up to you.
That is up to you." And the
No
running.
mummy's curse on me, man.
The
I'm
running
not gonna be in the
joke.
room.
The running joke is that Mira and my friend Trent, who plays my twin brother Marcus, we aren't sure why we're friends with the other two. We're like, why? We are in. But similarly, I think we all kind of have picked up on that. Here's some things that I can rely on as a player. Connor's going to make sure that we're moving. And we're walking, right? Johnny's going to make sure that we hit an emotional moment if it comes up. If there's an opportunity that we need to make sure like we spend some time focusing on and not glossing over, Johnny's be like, hey, we're having a
Curse you,
moment.
Johnny Payne. I love you so much.
Whether that moment is positive or negative.
Right.
Michael is going to talk to people. He's going to talk to the strangers. All of the strangers he
But I
wants
won't
to talk
now.
to them.
That was actually a Blackjack and Gideon thing because they had charisma.
Oh.
But
Elias has a charisma
okay,
of
so
8,
I guess
folks.
the other thing.
If he's talking to anybody, you need to shut him up.
Let me rephrase. Michael will notice all of the strangers.
Oh yeah.
He will notice and
And
remember.
what's that barmaid's name? And what's
yeah.
Just because that pisses off the DM.
And so yeah, that's yeah. Those are some things that I can rely on from my friends.
Yeah.
I don't. In this context, Brooke, I have no idea what to rely on you for.
Never
I know what to rely on you as a player.
Yeah.
And I can actually tell you your DM styles as well because for Kiri, and this was because I did audio, was Kiri's explanation of audio elements was fairly amazing because I knew when Kiri was DMing, I was like, oh, I got to find a sound for that. Oh, I got to find a sound for that. Hold on. Now, that was a little frustrating because I had to find brand new sounds.
It's the autism.
But it was it was that,
hear
and
things.
so that was one of the things that I will say about Kiri is that Kiri adds in on, and you still do. When you were talking about flipping the bottles and doing those, I had to find ways to make that sound incorporate with what you were talking about.
I will say that was really fun. Like we've always done collective world building, but Brooke has encouraged that from the beginning. But then also will like, for lack of a better phrase, turn the mic over and say, Kiri, do you want to describe your bar? Which is good because I know what it looks like. And if Brooke was going to describe it, it was not going to look like what it looks like in my head, and it was going to make me upset.
Oh yeah. It's well lit with baby blue walls.
No! That's not Rhapsody's vibe.
Yeah,
We did
That's
the
like
same
when someone
thing.
else does
yeah,
a movie is
we
your
did
favorite
the
book.
same thing at the beginning of episode 4 when it's Sable's alone time. And Brooke's just like, okay, where are you at? And I'm like, good question. I'm in the guild hall that is the Sapphire Society.
But your description of Minthra Thorne's office, because you know her like Rhapsody and Kiri, you created Minthra, and that office description, as you're describing it, I'm going like, okay, I'm feeling the vibe, man. So go right ahead.
So that was kind of an interesting thing to kind of take over for that and kind of help world build, essentially, of, at least in my head, what I think some of it looks like.
Yeah.
And like Brooke was saying, I know Minthra the best, so able to add in little details of her before you actually get to actually meet her.
Yeah, 100%.
Of that, her room's a little bit darker than the rest, and she's got spider detailing on her door.
Go on.
All those books in a pristine order,
Calm
right?
yourself.
And everything in its place and a place for everything, right?
I also really liked, so Johnny contributing the clock chimes, and then I imagined when the clocks when the clocks went off the first time, that was like 6 p.m. and then I mentioned them again, it's like 9.
9.
Which
I did kind
so
of cut
that's
out
why
that it's night.
it's
It's
night.
9 o'clock.
right, because time. What is it? What
I
do
know,
we call
it's-
time in fantasy?
and because here's the thing, time is. I'm sorry, it's a sandwich moment.
Time hasn't been invented yet.
Time has been invented. The problem is, I don't think that if you went to another planet, another civilization,
Right.
they wouldn't start their night at midnight. It wouldn't. That is. I don't know who created that. I don't know why. It's stupid. It should either start with Jewish time. It was always right at sunset.
Yes.
With when they didn't have clocks and stuff during like the medieval time, the day started at sunrise. So
dawn.
your 1 hour or 2 hour or 3 o'clock, 1, 2, 3 o'clock would be how many hours past
Yes.
sunrise.
Yes.
So yeah, you're right. Time is an awkward
And
thing
so that's
for when you're
why
talking
in
about.
the episode it's like, oh, it's nighttime now, like in a video game when it just flips over. And so I think something I'm really excited about for this campaign, and we don't know where this is going. We don't know if we're going to spend the entire time in the city. We don't know if we're going to leave or not. But I am excited about the townies and their friend. And so, Johnny, August has been here his whole life. Yes?
Yes.
Sable has been here as long as he can remember.
Yeah.
Moxie's been here for basically as long as she can remember.
Right.
She might have
'Cause you were just a baby. When
I
you
was
came
a
up from
little.
Calamari.
I was
Okay.
little when we showed up to Iron Spire. So I might have like the vaguest feeling of a memory.
In my mind's eye, like 3, 4 years old,
Yeah.
you were walking.
I was
but-
walking,
yeah.
but yeah. So it's like the thing where you can remember something that happened when you were that young, but you don't remember the details. You just remember like, oh, I felt really
Impressions.
scared, or I felt really happy. And so probably a lot of fear, honestly, because we were homeless. But has been in the bar her whole life. We've been in town our whole lives. We've been in our our circles, and I think it really makes the city feel huge. The city feels absolutely massive.
Especially Johnny had mentioned about the fact that he lived there his whole life, and only a few years ago felt like he'd actually finally explored the entire.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's the
Which
Clockwork
as a
City is
DM made me
huge.
go, oh crap. So
Well, and the thing
how
is
big
you
does it need to be? Is it
you
to-
also described it as kind of an island. So in my head, we're just living in New York City.
Yeah, it's Manhattan. without a
We're
doubt.
in Manhattan,
Right.
And also,
I live in Brooklyn.
Yeah.
It's spilled over onto the bank as well, right?
Yeah.
With the Old City is the island.
In my head, for Iron Spire at least, I think the name also kind of leans into kind of what I'm thinking of, and it's like that whatever city that's in. It's either in Korea or in China. Unfortunately, I don't remember. Where you think you're like, okay, I'm at street level.
You're not.
You're not. And you've got so many layers of the city to go and keep going until you actually hit what is actually the base level, because the city has been built up so much around kind of, I think, the mountains that are there.
Yeah.
And that's kind of how I imagine Iron Spire. Of like, you've got an island, but maybe it was like a very mountainous kind of island, and so you've got these kind of layers of the city.
Which is
It's
great
in
because
China,
there's
by the way.
that allows so much for underneath, which I'm sure you've kind of thought about what is underneath Iron Spire, what is underneath the Clockwork City, which I think is really important, which I think was about what we're about to get into.
Yeah.
So
at least the basement of a fishery or something. I don't know. So we'll have to see.
And I think my favorite bit from our last recording session is we're going along. I'm accepting details. I'm taking it all in. I'm enjoying it. And then in the back of my mind, things are coming together that I don't realize they're coming together. And then like 2/3 of the way through the recording session, Brooke, this is starting to feel very familiar.
Yeah.
So I actually have played a different version of the same. Like obviously, a lot of DMs, Brooke included, take kind of a basic idea of a thing, and then you just flavor it and you make it
which
your
you
thing.
should. Yeah, DMs out there, you should be doing that. Yeah, don't feel bad about
Especially at like level 1,
Right.
where you know we're not really into the story yet. We just need them to fight some goblins or something so they can level up. Or in this case, we just need to fight a couple of orcs at a fishery. And so I actually in my current Savage Worlds game, like 6 months ago, I played this adventure. To be clear, I don't remember the details, sports fans. And obviously, even if I did remember the details, I have a different party.
Yep.
So I have a different character. And so
And a
it's
different DM, yeah.
different, like, things aren't going to, and dice also.
Right.
So things don't happen the same way every
100%.
time.
Oh, yeah.
And the shell is there,
Right.
but a lot of the details are different.
Exactly.
Yeah,
So
I'm waiting for the moment when Kiri goes, wait, that's not how that's supposed to happen.
well, and
You know.
then so that we are recording on a Saturday, and Saturday is my game night, and so I left here and I went to there and I was telling them about it, and I was like, yeah, we're gonna go to the fishery and I was like, it was the stupid guy Giggles. I remembered that psychopath Giggles from our game, and then he mentioned a psychopath Giggles, and I was like, things clicked, and I just remembered, and so then surreptitiously, Brooke messaged me that night, and he was like, "Oh, just out of curiosity."
No, I did. I wanted to know where you guys were at in the story.
And I was like, "Oh, we're about to save this falsely accused king murderer from the gallows." And he was like, "Interesting," and then left the chat. So.
Right. Off mic, I'll ask you about that because it's a great story and I love it.
So I think that's one thing I love about my experience with D&D, and especially with like Adventures League, of like a lot of the times in Adventures League you do kind of have that same rotation of modules, games that you play through, but when you come at it with a different group, a different DM, and a different character that you're playing, it can end up so different than any way that you've played it previously.
Yeah, and even different games completely, because I was actually thinking about the difference between what happened with Elias and August and what happened with Gideon and Zonimus the very first time we were in combat. Where Zonimus was kind of holding back because he had a paladin there. I'm not going to really, I'll just, hold back because there's a paladin. The paladin goes up and nat 20, blows away the goblin.
Yeah.
And everyone's like, oh, well, so much for holding back because now we've got a murderer, And then this time, Elias was holding back because he's a cleric and he's not going to, he doesn't want to necessarily hurt anybody. And then up walks August, nat 20s, these two kobolds, chops off both their heads in an instant.
What is going on there with that character build? Because you took out 2 with 1 slice? Like you've made some
Which
some
I
build
think,
choices,
by the way, we
right?
also did some rules. We'll talk about rule stuff that I think we made a mistake on, but yeah.
I'm sure we did.
Listen, we're all new to
The
2024.
2024 stuff.
Yeah, so he's former city guard.
Right.
And one
Has the
thing that
halberd.
city guard says over and over and over and over again is back, stay back, stand back, clear the way, move, stand back. And if you don't, you get cleaved in half, I guess, is what happens. Yeah.
You talked
It was an
about
accident. I didn't mean for that to happen.
Who gave you a Vorpal weapon at first level? That's what I want to know.
Yes.
Was that on your character sheet? I don't remember. So
Well, hitting the nat 20, and I mean, we're talking kobolds. They have a hit points between, 6 and 10?
Yeah.
It is single-digit hit points. So when you nat 20 against something that's got single-digit hit points, including us, by the way.
Yeah.
Big
So
trouble.
when you do that, you're going to kill it. Well, the thing about the cleave rules is if you have someone within 5 feet and you hit with them, then you can also hit with the other. We took the nat 20 to the other one, which technically you're supposed to re-roll to hit.
Right.
So, because we didn't know. You asked about that, and I don't know. But
Yeah.
like I say, carry over the exact same hit points. So you're
It was
supposed
a fun,
to.
dramatic intro.
It was a great
great.
dramatic
Yeah,
intro.
yeah.
And even then, again, single digits with a halberd, which is 1d10, your likelihood of killing that one still was pretty
I
good.
did cleave rules when I DM'd.
Yes, you did.
Like that's part of the reason you guys killed the frogs so
Yes.
efficiently. Because you would, like, a frog would have 2 hit points, you would do 10 points of damage. Okay, well now this frog's got
Right.
8 points of damage too.
Yeah. So but with the cleave rules, that was, I think, there were 2 rules that I know immediately that we missed, and it's because, again, 2024 new rules, we're still learning them.
Yeah.
One is the cleave rules, that happened. You just, for people who are listening, you just need to re-roll for that second hit. For me, it was guidance. Apparently, the new guidance rules are
they're not the
that
same.
you touch a willing creature and choose a skill.
You have to choose now.
You now have to choose a skill, not just
Oh, you have guidance.
you have
Yeah,
guidance.
gotcha.
on
So you
it.
tell me guidance is the bane of the network now. So because of the wayfinders and their problem with
Well, it
guidance.
is. Well, yes. Well, in D&D 1, the original way they were going to do it was if I, for example, gave August guidance, August then could not get guidance again for
Correct.
24 hours.
Yeah.
Whereas in Pathfinder, I think they're immune to guidance for X
Yeah,
amount of
Yeah,
time.
it's a standard in a lot of games.
Yeah, for an hour.
But
right.
they took, I guess there was complaints about it. I loved it. I loved that idea. As a DM, I love the idea that you're just giving guidance every 5 seconds to anybody and everybody. I do like the little tightening of it to where if you're doing a Thieves' Tools, I can give you guidance on that.
Yeah.
If you're trying to convince somebody of something, I can give you guidance on that. But I can't just give you guidance and then for the next 10 minutes you got a D4 on anything you want. So
Yeah.
it is a little tighter
Ironically,
there.
Bardic got better in that it lasts for an hour now.
Yeah,
Nice.
very nice.
And not just for 10 minutes or a minute. I don't remember exactly.
Yeah.
And I did get to use that. I don't think we really need. I don't think you used it. I don't think
I
you
think
needed
I
it.
did.
Yes, you
use it
did.
at one point.
You did it for the second guy who came in. Yeah.
But yeah. And then I think my favorite bit is that I wanted when we're fighting the guys in the alley. I was like, to be clear, Brooke, I swear I'm not gonna ask you if I know every single guy that walks up. I'm not gonna be that guy. We're in.
You realize, of course, we are going to a fishery with a bunch of guys who are going to. So she'll probably ask.
I'm not
them.
going to, but we were on my property. Well,
the alley,
we were on
right?
Rhapsody's
But
property.
it did set the stage, so maybe now Brooke can kind of go, oh, by the way, you do see
Right.
Yes.
this. And it also, I think, was important because it set the stage for the listener to understand what that thing was.
Right. And then
100%.
I was able to describe all of that, which was really great. And that was another, we talked about collaborative world building. That was another thing that I was like, Brooke, I want to do this thing, but I don't want to break the game. So let's find a way to do it that is not going to like be OP and stuff like that. We want to underpower this thing because it's just supposed to be flavor.
Yeah.
So that siren song mark is kind of a version of arcade mark,
Yeah.
right? And in some ways, it's more powerful because it's triggered by vulnerability. Like
Yeah.
if you're vulnerable to that
By
person
intent.
or feeling threatened by that person,
Yeah.
then it shows up and then
But
otherwise doesn't.
And that just
But
came.
that's all it does.
That just came from the idea that this only works if Moxie can mark a bunch of dudes, and she can't mark a bunch of dudes if they don't come to her bar.
And they
so
don't shake her hand.
And well, she doesn't have to shake their hand precisely.
Oh, what does she? What else can she do? I mean,
She just touch them.
as long as she touches them. Okay.
But if she's kicking a guy out of her bar,
yeah.
she's gonna touch him.
Or punching him in the face.
Or
yeah.
punching him in the face. There is a world in which I did consider for a moment multi-classing into monk and getting some brass knuckles and just like taking tavern brawler. Anyway, so if these guys knew they were being marked, they would stop coming and they would tell their friends not to come. And I didn't want that to happen. So I was like,
Yes.
it needs to be magic in some way.
It's invisible ink in some way that
Right.
no one else would see it. Yeah.
And so now it's triggered by like intent, like if they intend to harm you or if you are particularly like in a vulnerable place from them. Yeah.
Yeah,
You
we
bet.
talked about some of the similarities of past campaigns for Red Dirt. This is one where there's something that's totally different from any past ones, and that is the majority of the characters are from the place where we're adventuring.
Yeah, we're all townies.
yeah.
Townies and Dr. Stone. Dr. Stone and the Townies.
I love
An amazing band name.
it. Dr. Stone and Townies.
We just need
that is
we
such
need a van.
60s, yes. That is such a 60s Scooby-Doo
It's
name.
giving Dr. Teeth.
Yes. But it's nice being kind of the fish out of water. I've always been the fish out of water in every one of the campaigns we've done, but to be the fish out of water where the other players actually know the world better.
And I can say things like, I know a guy.
Yeah.
Which I do think that is a fun juxtaposition to the rest of us of you coming in brand spanking new to a big city when essentially you'd been in like smaller towns. And then, so you get to experience our city from like fresh eyes, fresh perspectives, where we're all kind of jaded by everything that has happened and everything we've grown up in.
Yeah. Especially, Johnny, I want to come to that in just a second, but we kind of did some morning of rewrites in a way with Michael's little bit of a backstory because, you basically invented Gearport, and then also some of the locations in Calimera, this other city state that's about 300 miles away, and your reason for coming to Iron Spire, it was your idea, and then we workshopped that a little bit, and then I'm doing a quick little rewrite to blend that in with having the call to come, and then you've got the orphanage friend Iris that you grew up with that lives there in town, and so these are threads that
I have contacts that we've been talking about, and of course in creating Gearport, which so I've done this thing called the mother of all character questionnaires. This thing is, if you ever get a chance to look up, you can Google it.
But it's awesome.
335, and actually I've
Michael
deleted
spent
some
like
questions.
4 hours.
No, I spent like
days
filling this out. But it's cool. I highly recommend you guys looking something like this. It's not just this. There are other questionnaires out there, character questionnaires, because you find out about yourself. Like, for example, here's interesting. This will never come up, so I can go ahead and say it. He sleeps in silk pajamas and satin sheets
with a little hat.
It is
Ebenezer Scrooge style.
No, like silk, like not like a dress type thing. But here's the thing. Because I was trying to figure out because it asked you, what do you sleep in? What are your sheets like? Here's the thing. He's a traveling doctor. Right. So he sleeps in his clothes. He sleeps,
So if
on
he's in his
ground.
bed, he wants it to be nice. He's bougie.
He does not spend on anything. He doesn't have anything on his walls. He does not buy antiques. He believes that all frivolous. But this one little luxury is sleeping in a good bed with satin sheets. Only because he only gets to do it like rarely. He won't be able to do it this entire time.
No,
but he's never going home.
Monty's about to let you sleep in the basement, so it's
So he's used to. He's a traveling doctor. He's used to sleeping on the ground. He's not. So it's the one that again, fill out these questionnaires for your characters, folks, because it is so much fun. It is a blast to just figure out where your character is coming from.
Here as we do something live, like right now. So, when did that first happen? Like, when did he suddenly go, oh, this is nice? I mean, because he grew up in an orphanage.
Yes.
Then, do you know, I could kind of get the brainstorm going a little bit
he would. I would actually have been in college.
Oh,
Once he finally got
Doctor
to college. And of course you've got the dorm rooms there, and they got nice because it's a doctor's college. So they and there's like, here's some sets like, oh, okay, fine, I'll sleep on them because they're there. But I was like, and then went off to do other things in his life that kept him away from a nice bed too. So
there we go.
Yeah, there's things like that have just been absolutely fun to find out about my character and finding out about the people that I grew up with in the orphanage, people that raised me, people that I've been dealing with. It's a lot of fun. So yeah.
And I will say you wouldn't believe it, but there are 2 folks at the table, maybe 2.5, that pulling backstory from them was like pulling teeth, and it was Michael and Kiri. At first, she was just like, I don't know, I just kind of discover the character as I go along, and then all of a sudden, like, boom, it flowered. And
once
of course,
it happened,
and then the same thing with Michael. Michael was like, I don't know. I'm like, and then he found this questionnaire.
I will say what triggered it for me was you giving me the bar. Giving me everything, giving me Rhapsody. Like, I didn't have to worry about, is this going to fit in to what Brooke's trying to do? Is this going to, I don't want to, mess it up. And so you essentially just giving me the siren song. Hey, here's the whole thing. You can have everybody in it. Just let me know. And that really helped me flesh that out because I think I had and this is probably, this is Kiri making discoveries about Kiri in the moment. I feel like a lot of my characters are defined by their relationships with other people.
Right.
And so until I know those things, I don't figure it out. Like Poppy is defined by her relationship with her father, and then her relationship with her friends, and her, ultimately her relationship with Donomus. Billy was defined early on by his relationship with his friends, and became the loyalty guy, friendship guy. So me being able to just like already determine these are my relationships with these living, breathing NPCs that aren't like my dead mom we're never going to see or whatever, then it helped me kind of figure that out.
Yeah.
Moxie, by the way, is a tank top and shorts kind of a bedtime pajamas,
cool.
I think that's, it's a tank top and shorts.
I will say I will do my best not to have that kind of scene. I mean, it could be an Indiana Jones Raiders of the
No, that's when she's
Temple of Doom type of thing where, you're all bedded down for the night and
I will say that is
Elias
when
has to come out in his silk pajamas, to
Similarly,
Sable from a
that's
pit.
when she's at home. Now the difference is
that's
Moxie,
Elias is only when he's at home.
The difference is Moxie never leaves. She lives and works in
Yeah.
the bar. I'm always home, but
Because Elias doesn't carry his pajamas with him, so it's not like he's just
A moment ago, Connor, Kiri said that she's kind of characters are often defined by their NPCs. Is that a vibe for Sable too?
I know I definitely gave you more of Minthra's backstory than I did for Sable.
100%.
Oh, I did the same thing with Rhapsody.
It was like a little embarrassing. I gave Brooke what?
At least we met
8
Minthra.
paragraphs for Minthra and 3 for Sable.
Yeah. In my head, I'm thinking, if something bad happens to these characters, you guys already have replacements ready to go.
Yeah.
Right?
Rhapsody's coming out of retirement, baby.
Yep, exactly.
I would love to play Minthra.
But I think maybe the person who did the most kind of NPC touch backstory, really the person that created, he didn't know he was doing it at the time, but that created our opening impetus scene was Johnny. You and I did a little conversation on Discord, and your conversation of he has these relationships with these people suddenly went boom, 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 and populated Reynard and Croft and I've lost my own brain of
Laura.
no, that was Croft. That was
No.
Darn it. Yeah.
Laura was her first name.
Yeah.
I don't remember her last name.
Yeah. So Croft was the
Captain
captain
Croft.
of the guard, but there were the
Laura.
three.
Lana.
No, it was the other guard. Yeah.
There were the
Reynard,
Specialist.
Lana and
It was mine.
the
It
guy.
was mine.
Whose accent changed in the middle, but it was okay. I loved it.
Yeah.
He went full mafia there at the end.
Oh yeah.
Well, when he's a nice little cop, and then it's like, okay, wait a minute, you got to play ball here.
I will say I loved being able to be a little bit of a
Yes, Brooke.
true voice actor. It was really fun.
Yeah. It was
Sergeant
nice.
Vance. Yes.
Brooke
So-
really taking inspiration from yours and mine.
Yeah. And
It would be neat if you had a list of allies that August still had instead of people trying to bring them down.
Right?
That'd be-
wink, wink.
please.
Nudge, nudge.
Yeah, that would
But
be.
no, because the way whenever you and I had we had a conversation on the telephone, which was funny in my house when we were having that conversation. Do you remember what I was doing? We had that talk.
I don't.
When I have
there's
long
a smoky neuron
conversations-
trying to.
We had
trying to
recently
fire
moved,
me.
and I was putting a bed together. And then my wife walks in, and she's like,
Yes.
"What are you talking?" She's literally looking like past the mattress and by the cardboard, I'm like,
You're
Brooke.
putting the railings
And she goes,
together
Is Brooke in the room here with us now?
Could be your earbud in, I'm sure.
Yeah, it was an earbud. Yeah. So no,
And he's
we were,
just talking about characters.
Do
Yeah.
you see Brooke now?
Hi, Amanda.
we were talking about that, and in my mind, we were. He was city guard. This will unfold in the story. I'm not going to give a lot of spoilers. There's a reason he's not now. And I thought it was going to be left over with he was going to have allies, and it turned out he's left over with adversaries, which is great because it makes for a better story and stuff. And then allies are too easy to abuse.
We
It's
are the
I know like
allies.
7 people who will suit up with spears and join us in this fight. It's too easy to do
August
that.
will form his very own Avengers.
Right?
Allies.
They're just minions. They have 1 HP.
I couldn't do that for Johnny yet, because then August wouldn't need any of you guys. August would be like,
You
I'll
have
just-
friends. You're
Well,
well-rounded.
there's also the whole intrigue and such where they're not against me, but if they're seen helping me, that could be bad for them.
Yes.
So that's why August also doesn't seek them out unless it's
Yes.
really, really, really important.
I think, and
Yeah.
it's
but
something
we
that
can
easily
all
come back
agree
in.
that Raynard is a jerk.
Oh yeah.
Hey,
Yeah.
We don't like him.
Yeah.
Raynard's awful.
He's a
Very
big,
well played by Connor. And
you.
again, another
Big
moment
butt.
in which there were parts, as you could probably tell, there were parts that we had scripted, just so that it flowed better. And there were a couple tweaks that Connor made in dialogue. And oh my God, they were brilliant. I was like, oh.
There was no way, and I could hear when I was editing. I was like, "There's no way I'm cutting that out. That is beautiful." There were some really good and some other the two things you guys did with Minthra, totally improv, and it was absolutely wonderful.
I had to touch base with Connor like right after, going, I love you, buddy. You're okay, right? Because I mean, she was just like cutting him off and just snapping at him, and
I
That
love
was
her so
beautiful
much.
role play.
but being a kicked puppy is like a third of Sable's personality.
Yeah, that's very true.
and then Johnny really enjoyed Minthra. There were some outtakes.
I mean, yeah, not August. Just
Johnny
Johnny sitting back
paid.
and listening to this. I got a soft spot for
authoritative.
Wow, yeah.
I used to call them finkies.
I don't know that I want to know what that is.
In EverQuest, dark elf nicknames were inkies.
Oh,
and the
okay.
females were finkies, and so yeah, it's an old school EverQuest. thing.
You've been a big fan of Drow for a very, very long time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's why I'm sad.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Well, we shall see. There was a moment, in which and it's that idea of we want to play the game, but
Right.
also in a homebrew. In a homebrew type of setting, you can always take the game and make it your own. And there's that moment where I said half work, and then Michael was like, they don't exist anymore, but yet they are. And then that moment when we're introduced to Minthra, and there's an edit where I pause for a second and I say, hey, this is what she looks like, right? I just want to double check this is cool with Connor.
Right.
And he's like, yeah. And so
Do all Drow look the same?
she has that classic Drow look, white hair and
I
darker
love how
skin.
much she hates me.
Yeah.
That was so. You're thinking about that woman again, aren't you?
That Moxie girl.
Moxie
I
girl.
loved it. That was
Yeah.
great moments.
Which unfortunately I did have to edit out because it made no sense that we were all just started laughing on that.
Yeah.
I think it ended up in the outtakes. but
Yeah.
It
was
did.
just-
I do still love, and I think it's gonna be a bit before that outtake gets erased as like one of my top favorites of. What, am I just gonna walk into Moxie's bar and find the people that I'm
Gonna
looking
walk
for?
into a bar and find these people.
my ears are burning.
Since we're talking about it and we're 40 minutes deep into this roundtable, you're listening to the roundtable now free on our feed. It's not part of the Patreon.
Yeah. Woo.
The outtakes that you're used to and you love so much are now a weekly bonus to our Patreon members.
There you go. You
So
get
we're
something
doing
like-
a bit of a swap. Instead of getting something once a month, you're getting something every week on
Yeah.
Patreon, and these are free for you and your friends.
So
That's
And
right.
we promise we're not evil capitalist overlords. It just sounded that way when Johnny said it.
yes. And so with the one thing about having these longer periods
I like
is these remind me very much of the Wayfinder Legends Fourth Action.
Oh, yeah.
That's the name of their roundtable is called Fourth Action, and I have a Fourth Action crossover comment that I want to make.
Uh-oh.
In fact, we were just listening to it. Of course, you guys, this will be months from. But when Body, we was talking about how he chose to become a mundane healer,
Yes.
rather than a cleric healer, and so why would you choose to do that? And I thought, well, the great thing about Dr. Stone is he is both a magical healer and a mundane healer. So hopefully the idea being that none of you will have to. I don't know if you'll have some healing spells that you could choose from.
Listen, I'm
but you
probably
will-
still going to pick up Healing Word just in case you go down.
Yeah, but I'm also going to be able to make because of my I'm healing potions
Yeah.
and healing scrolls, and so there's a lot of things that I can do. Because if I make like a cure wounds or a healing word scroll, you can use that
Yeah.
because it's in your
I'm a
it's in your
stills.
wheelhouse. So
Still
I'm going to be making
spellcaster.
those two. So the idea that and I'll have a healer's kit too. So even if you're not familiar with the healer's kit, if I go down, you can still stabilize me.
During downtime, Dr. Stone hosts a series of seminars. And we learn tourniquets. And we
It's all
learn,
about preventative medicine.
we have to wait.
Take
Listen,
your vitamins yet to tell you about
If you
that.
listen to what I have to say, you will never need me.
okay, everybody, good morning. Let's get up, and everybody, we're gonna do some yoga, some stretching, calisthenics. Everybody,
Downward
jumping jacks.
facing dog.
Take the
Downward
stairs,
facing
not
dog.
the elevator.
The only thing Sable's gonna take from this is an apple a day keeps Dr. Stone away.
And you do that by throwing it at him.
Knock him unconscious for a while.
because Dr. I think he would be again. I'm sorry, but he's going to be an early riser again.
Yeah,
just
gosh.
like Gideon was.
See, Moxie, she runs a bar.
No,
so-
Moxie and Sable, neither of them would be early risers. 'Cause
We
you
have
guys
no
gotta
reason to be up that early,
They'll be going to
unless
bed
I'm
about an
trying to
hour
get,
before he gets
especially
up.
as the if say I needed to go to the fish market first thing to get first catch, I'm sending Aria to do that. I ain't doing that
Oh, yeah.
unless the fish guy likes me, and then I can go flirt with him and get a better deal.
I mean, the fun thing about me only flavor-wise being a half-elf is I have to pick the full elf stats. I just need 4 hours of trance and meditation.
Yeah.
I can take those 4 hours
He can
whenever.
just be on TikTok for 4 hours, just zone out, brain rot, and then back to go ready to go.
I cannot wait to. There are just lots of little secrets about Sable. Like they're just little planted things, you know, and such. That
it's weird for us because we don't know either. I think that's kind of weird for us because there are things in Sable's background that I have no.
That you don't
I'm
have
still
any idea
confused
about.
by. So it's really neat.
Oh, that's really good.
That's fine.
That's really good.
Which is how it should be. I shouldn't really know a lot
Yeah.
of. I think there's things about Dr. Stone that you guys don't know yet either. So, finding out those things is what kind of makes the game also really special.
Yeah. Which almost going full circle. That's hopefully it was a risk that paid off, but that's a thing that we started with. Like we started episode 1, episode 2 with these vignettes of backstory. So we find out about this conflict. Like we just start kind of, in media res, like, oh, we're in a tavern, there's a guy, it's going to be a thing. And then we realize the only player character we're looking at is August.
Right.
And these 3 other characters that come in and say like, hey, listen, you need to join the team of corruption. And August says no, and then we jump, I can't remember where we jump next. Maybe
Elias.
To Elias in Gearport, right? And we realize, oh, what's our time frame going on here? Oh, this is a little kid, And
Well, we
boom,
actually
boom,
started
boom,
in
boom.
Gearport,
Yeah.
and then went to August story, and then
Yeah.
then started the actual role playing because we finished out episode 1.
Yeah, it was fun to kind of do two characters at a time, and it kind of paired us off, but
But I love that.
But it was.
I think it made a lot of sense
Yeah.
with the pairings that were
Yeah.
paired off.
because we're obviously best friends.
Oh, that is such a one-sided friendship.
That is so wonderfully the relationship. Again, secrets and Sable, it's awesome.
I don't know why. I'm just drawn to them.
Well, and I love the fact that August and Elias got their moment to kind of get a little bit of a combat so we can kind of get to know each other. And it really formed a bond when you and I were going toward the church. Like, okay, so I think it was it as we were walking, he's like, oh, this is actually going to be a pretty good friendship.
My favorite church.
Yeah, we realized there was,
My favorite church-related moment is when you guys enter the church. Brooke describes it as this harbor of peace, and we're promoting peace and passivity and pacifism and stuff like that. And then Michael or Dr. Stone comes out of the office, and August is polishing the blood off of his halberd in the courtyard of peace.
I never even thought about that, but the idea of these nuns just walking upstairs. Oh my God!
don't worry, did this out of town.
Is the guy in the courtyard okay? Is he was everything all right?
Did someone check him?
It's okay. It's just cobalt blood.
blood was on the
all the
halberd, not the
nuns
person.
walking past
right.
August, and August's like, cobalt blood.
I swear.
It's just cobalt.
Not mine.
Not
They
mine.
were going to kidnap children, I promise.
Which, for everybody that might be offended, or anybody that might be offended, don't worry, there'll be a payoff, but there's also that little twist where like kobolds aren't our wonderful little friends from like campaign 1 and 2. You know, like we have meant to refer to them as those little rats that are all over the city.
Yeah.
You know, and so
Well, it's okay to have bad guys.
Yeah, and then and that is also the beauty of doing different worlds. And that's why you ask, like, is the drow, does she look like other drow? 'Cause every time, and the beauty of making your own world, and that's why I hear so many complaints on YouTube. Oh, they changed this and they did this. I'm like, it's your world.
You don't have to
do whatever you want.
Yeah.
They're just putting standards that way you can follow or not.
This is a PD moment. Plausible deniability with Michael. It's true, and the people who complain about how the drow were and they need to be changed didn't follow the rule of, wait, it's my game. I can just change it at my table.
Yeah.
They complained until Wizards changed it.
Yeah, but then if they did, you could do it any way you want.
I'm just waiting for the day that we
I'm
get a
also
bright, white, pale drow with dark blue hair. Just totally flip the script on the norm. The albino, the sacred albino.
All I'm saying is,
Drow.
if they experience no sun, then they should be pale.
They should
no
actually be pale,
melanin.
right? 100%.
But that's a different topic.
Yeah.
Science in a world of
Science in
magic.
your fantasy.
Science in a world of magic. You're
Understand.
safe.
So we've got all of our characters. Are you guys excited about where your characters are right now and what they're doing?
Just one quick, while we're talking about those vignettes, you can tell that sometimes they are scripted and sometimes they are not, of course. My favorite, like, one of those things where, and it happens to me all the time, you're writing and it sounds great, and then you read it out loud and somebody else is like, Brooke, you just said the word pink 27 times. We get it, she's pink.
Yeah.
You can describe it the first time and then move on.
Which is exactly why the first time I walk into the bar, Dr. Elias still goes,
She's
pink.
and it get a world build, because we've got to understand that we've decided that tieflings are not uncommon, but we have decided that pink tiefling is actually uncommon, possibly maybe even unique to Moxie.
I mean, she's never met one.
Yeah, I would love the fact that no one's ever met a pink tiefling before.
Just Moxie.
Makes Moxie truly a unique character.
I'm gonna be honest, I don't know why she's pink. I thought it was cute.
Yeah.
And that's all that matters. That's all that matters.
And I don't think there needs to be a reason. I think it's a very cool option to make her very unique.
Yeah. Her biological dad was a tiefling, so she's a tiefling.
Yeah.
There you go. Does she?
And her mother's elf, right?
Does she know
Yeah.
that? I mean, has her mom ever? I get the feeling her mom wouldn't talk about
They
the
wouldn't
man
t-
she
she
was
would-
married to
no.
much at all.
She wouldn't talk about. She would like. I'm sure Moxie knows that she has a biological dad, and she's also 65 years old. She ain't dumb. She knows that her mom wasn't a tiefling, so she could do some math. But she had a very happy childhood, so she never felt like she was missing anything. She had Rhapsody. She never felt like she was missing a father figure. She was surrounded by all of these like
Supporting
women who were strong women, and who, like, not that she doesn't see the value in men. All my friends are men. She has plenty of male friends, and they're great. But she also she just didn't really feel that hole, so she doesn't think about it much.
Yeah, that makes perfect sense.
But
Hold
yeah,
on, we just
oh no, what happened?
no, we're still going. That was just a weird moment because I guess everyone kind of paused at the right moment in my ears. Okay.
Last world building moment, because Johnny is so great at it. Johnny pushed, Dr. Stone, let's go to this bar, to this place that I like. And then Johnny was like, yeah, I totally work here sometimes. You know what? Yeah, sure. That would be a thing. Like, if I knew I was going to have like a big event, I needed some muscle, I would put a job on the bulletin board, you know?
Yeah.
And I mean, and
100%.
part of your backstory, I mean, you helped that kid in the street.
Yeah,
so.
it's not just like, oh, you have different parts than I do. I'm not helping you. She helps anyone who needs help, regardless of their corporeal form.
I really like that. In a certain way, August and Moxie kind of, sort of, maybe have similar goals, although they're coming around them from completely different directions. If I use old school terms, there's no doubt.
I think
that
actually
Moxie's all chaos.
I don't think it's actually even not just it's. I think it's August, Moxie, and Dr. Stone.
bring that
All
in, too,
three
yeah.
are actually the idea that
You're
we
also
are.
here, Connor.
Well, I was going to get
Connor is all three.
The-
Connor is all three.
the three of us are about helping people and about doing good. We're in essence good. I mean, whether it comes from lawful, chaotic, or neutral, I think we're all eventually good. And then there's Sable, which again I can't quite figure out Sable because I don't think that if we're not, because we're thrown into a party,
Yeah.
you know, Sable and Dr. Stone, I don't think that there would be a friendship outside of it because of you're coming at what you do totally different than what Dr. Stone does.
If I'm looking at an alignment chart, I'm thinking Moxie feels very chaotic good.
Right.
Yes.
Graymore feels more lawful.
Or neutral
Or
good,
neutral.
actually having pulled away from the law
Mm-hmm.
and basically saying that, yeah. And I can tell you right now, Elias Stone is lawful good.
Oh, very nice.
So we're the whole top row. Connor feels more neutral. Sable feels more neutral.
Yeah. Or, yeah, okay, we'll go with neutral.
Like,
We'll go with
here's
neutral.
the thing. Sable feels to me, and maybe I don't use the alignment chart very often, so maybe I don't understand it very well. Sable to me very much feels like I am alive. I have a roof over my head. I got clothes on my back. I'm going to do whatever I need to do to make sure that that keeps happening. And I will help my friends, people I care about. But if a stranger's getting decked in the street, he probably deserved it. I'm not going to like help that guy and risk what I have. You know what I mean?
Maybe
Unless-
chaotic neutral. I think it'd be more chaotic neutral. Well,
I didn't say true neutral. I just said
and
neutral.
and also the other thing is understand that Dr. Stone, although he is lawful good, his law is his own law and
The Hippocratic law.
Yes.
Yeah.
Now because he hates power, he hates corruption, he hates. I mean, very close to where August is, but you know he does because as a doctor, as a man of science, there is a law. There's an order to things. So
Yes,
maybe
yes.
instead of lawful good, it should be order good, which makes no sense. But order and chaos is actually better.
But if you think about
order
law
makes
being order, structure.
yeah.
And I think Michael's in a unique perspective in regards to Sable because you do our editing for
That's true.
the voices and stuff. So while we were all here for Moxie and Sable's episode together, like you actually spent like a little bit more time, and so you do kind of see that like when we were in the alley, Moxie leaves, and Sable is about to kill that guy.
Yeah.
And so,
Yeah, that
And
might be
then-
true. Yes, I
yeah.
did actually go
And then when we meet up, when I come back to the tavern and meet you guys, like I give kind of a more of a greeting to Moxie
'Cause we're best
We know
friends.
each other. And just to August, I think I've seen you in passing.
Yeah.
But to you, I'm like, aren't you a little too old
Yeah.
to be doing this?
Yeah. especially Elf going to a human. It's like, yeah, you look like an old man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I don't think that this is too bad to kind of reveal at this point. It kind of goes back to Minthra telling me, like, you need a tank, you need a
Yes.
healer, preferably one that's not a part of the order. And I think you had been talking about, those kids were from the Illuminated Light,
Right.
which is my deity's church.
Right.
Oh, okay, I did find a healer. They're a part of...
Unfortunately.
Yeah.
And so, you're not Sable's first choice
Right.
in regards to Minthra's orders,
Right.
but you are here.
You are here.
You're available, and you're convenient.
And it's okay. He's
It's a
going to
very
die soon
Twitch
anyway.
outlook of you.
It's very, very Twitch.
Yeah.
Yes. How can he
Utilitarian.
be useful to me right now?
Uh-huh.
So
We
I've been talking too long.
Well,
Yeah.
we've been talking for a fantastic time. Maybe next time, maybe this answer and then and then the next time thing with Johnny. Where does that? What's the word? Ethnicity? Not ethnicity. Ethicalness. Where does that ethicalness come from in August? Do you think? Because we don't really know anything about his upbringing and his background. We don't need to know right now. But is it just where did this drive for order and justice come from?
Yeah, so some of it, and this would be no matter what he did in life, is from his loving parents.
Oh, yes.
But a chunk of it is watching it happen day in and day out as a city guard, no matter where he was stationed. And that's why he's now, you're talking earlier, the differences with Elias and such, is he realizes, there's corruption here, and he's learned how to navigate that ocean rather than try. Like, I've always got to fight it at every step. It's like, well, I can use this to help others along the way. Maybe there's a balance to things. But yeah, just from seeing it happen and watching it. And
are we going
That's
to find
awesome.
out that backstory is going to be like Zonomus, where we're like, we have no idea for the entire run?
no, we'll
Yeah,
we'll get
okay,
it. So
gotcha.
we're 4 episodes deep.
There you go.
I know, but I
Yeah,
just,
yeah.
And really only 3 because you guys were not in one.
I know.
Connor's only 2 episodes deep.
Yeah.
That was so funny.
Not
The-
getting-
my favorite outtake was actually, I wasn't even in this thing, and then Johnny goes, we're not paying you for that.
Y'all get paid?
I didn't pay for that episode. No pizza for you.
Oh.
Yeah, that was darn it. Thought was there and gone. Oh yeah, loving parents. You've alluded to that just a tiny bit. So it's different than the classic. I had a tragic. All my parents.
Yeah, I like
died,
to
I'm
flip
an
the
orphan.
script a lot on
So,
some characters. One of my favorite characters ever was my druid during Tomb of Annihilation, and he was not, I'm an orphan. I completely did the backwards of it. No, his children died.
Oh,
And that was his motivation to go out and
Yeah.
et cetera and such. Yeah, so on this one, it's like, no, his parents are alive and kicking, and they have a little farm, and they come into the farmer's market and trade.
That's what I loved about Blackjack.
Yeah.
Blackjack really had a huge family, which you're not supposed to have in D&D.
That's
Yeah.
right.
Because otherwise the DM's going to take advantage of them.
Yeah.
I mean, and that's something you see towards the end when you guys are like, oh yeah, we got to go save these kids. And Moxie's like, but like, I have a really happy life here. I'm happy.
But
Like,
it's
I mean,
part of your mission
we need to
statement,
go
right?
save the kids, but also Moxie doesn't. She's gonna need This is on you, Brooke. She's gonna need a good reason to leave this bar.
Oh yeah, for sure.
And that's gonna come in the storytelling.
But I found a good whiskey, so I don't. That's going to be hard for me to want to leave.
There's a
too.
part too. There we go.
I know a guy.
I want to find out more about these gloves that August wears, and that may be for a future roundtable.
Yeah.
But there's a very predominant moment, which as we end with episode 4, where he very purposely is like, it's almost like he's suiting up. Like he very purposely is like putting them on.
Time for justice.
Because you remember what I said a minute ago, Johnny is gonna find the emotional beat that we need
There we go.
and fill it.
Yes.
It was great.
It's a great way to end episode 4.
Yeah, we are so excited to have you guys with us on this new journey with Campaign 3. As always, like, share, subscribe, tell your friends about Campaign 3 that is starting up, and then spread the word on all the socials. Give those reviews, even if you wrote one a long time ago. Write a new review and post that to Spotify and to Apple Podcasts for sure, because it just bumps that algorithm and does all of those wonderful things. Any last thoughts, gang, before
I'm
we
excited about
get back
where we
into
go
this?
now. I'm excited about
Yeah.
where we go.
Yeah.
Super excited.
Woohoo! Lots
The
of
team is finally together.
yeah. Lots of drama and backstory kind of did the first 4 episodes. I bet the next 4 have blood.
But there will be blood.
There will be blood.
I will drink your milkshake.
all your milkshakes bring boys for the garden.
All your milkshake are belong to us.
I bet the fish water is nasty.
I think the milkshake is a lie.
Yeah.
Take us out, Brooke.
And with that, I am Brooke Bullock, joined by
Michael Cross.
Johnny Payne and I am not a communist scumbag. Send me money. Capitalist. I'm not a capitalist pig. Send me money.
There you go.
Kiri Hester.
Okay, comrade.
I'm just Connor Shenold. Goodbye.
Never just Connor.
Just Connor Shenold is all we need.